Good morning, folks. My name is Hitzemann, County Court Judge here in Hernando County. You folks are here for your first appearance. The purpose of the first appearance hearing is so that you may be informed of the charges against you. I'll determine if probable cause exists for those charges. Probable cause simply means that it's more likely than not that a crime has occurred, and more likely than not that you're the person who's committed the crime. Of course, as you stand before me this morning, I presume that you're innocent of these charges. That presumption of innocence will stay with you through every stage of the proceedings, unless and until the State Attorney's Office is able to prove the charges against you beyond and to the exclusion of a reasonable doubt. We'll set your conditions of pretrial release this morning, that is your bail or your bond. In most cases, you've had a bond set already pursuant to the bond schedule here in the 5th Judicial Circuit, or the warrant which led to your arrest. I'll determine if that bond should be raised or lowered or left the same, or that there'll be additional conditions of pretrial release placed upon you. We'll let you know when your next court date will be. If you'd like to have the services of the public defender, I'll gladly appoint the PD to represent you this morning. You do have a right to have contact with folks on the outside, family, friends, counsel. If you have not had a chance to make that call, please let me know. We'll make sure that that happens. Finally, and most importantly, you're advised that you do have an absolute right to remain silent with regard to the facts which surround your arrest. I encourage you to do that. These proceedings are recorded. In addition, there is an assistant state attorney sitting in the courtroom with me. If you say something that tends to incriminate you, they will use it against you in the prosecution down the road. And I need each and every one of you there at the jail to please raise your right hands and be sworn. Do all solemnly swear or affirm, tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth? Outstanding. When you hear your name called, please step forward to the podium. Renee Montesanti. Want to miss what's your date of birth?
I'm sorry?
What's your date of birth?
7/15/85.
All right, Renee, you're here on a charge of battery being domestic in nature. There's probable cause for the charge. As to that charge, do you wish to represent yourself? Do you plan on hiring private counsel? Would you like me to appoint the public defender?
Appoint a public defender.
I'll appoint the public defender. State, what can you tell me?
Judge, she has a prior trespass from 2007.
All right, Renee, I have an address for you on Deltona Boulevard. Is that where you live?
Sometimes yes, sir, and sometimes no.
Okay.
I live between two residents.
Were you living there yesterday?
Yes.
Very good. And does Miss Augustine also live there?
Yes, she does.
All right. Do you have a job these days?
Yes, I do.
What do you do?
I am an interior designer for Smart Interiors.
Okay. I'm going to set your bond at $500. Condition of the bond will be that you have no contact with Miss Augustine. No contact means no contact of any kind. You don't call, you don't write, you don't email, you don't text message. Don't contact her through any social media. Don't have a third person contact her. Don't go where she lives. Don't go where she works. Don't have any contact of any kind. Any way that you might imagine contacting her, I forbid you to do that. If you have contact and we find out about it, your bond can be revoked and you can be held without bond until the charges are resolved. It means no contact even if she wants the contact. So if you answer your phone and hear her voice, you should hang up. If you're out and about and see her, you should turn around and run the other way. You need to understand that she cannot drop the charges against you. That's not a decision that she is allowed to make. She may go to the state attorney's office and ask them to drop the charges. She may tell them she's not interested in pursuing this matter, but that decision belongs solely to the assistant state attorney handling your case. So unless that person or the judge on your case tells you the charges are dropped, you should assume they are not dropped, and you should not have contact. In addition, I've got to hold you at the jail today up until 4 p.m., so that if she wanted to serve you with a civil injunction for protection against domestic violence, we'd know where to find you. If you get the civil injunction, it's doubly important that you not have contact, because in that case, not only could you get your bond revoked here, but you could get new charges for violating the injunction. As far as that address on Deltona goes, if there's anything there that you need, you can go by one time to pick up those things, but to accomplish that, you must contact the sheriff's office first. They would meet you there with a deputy who would stand by while you got your things and get going where you're going. I'm going to have you back in court on the 10th of August. It's very important that when you bond out, you contact the public defender's office right away, okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Jeffrey Guzwas. Morning, sir. What's your date of birth?
2/29/60.
If you're hearing a charge of battery being domestic in nature, there's probable cause for the charge. As to that charge, you wish to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like me to appoint the public defender?
I'm going to hire private counsel.
Very good. State what you tell me.
I show no prior convictions.
Okay. Jeffrey, I have an address for you on Ostrom Way in Weekiwachi. Is that where you live?
Correct.
How long have you been there?
14 years.
Do you have a job these days?
I do.
What do you do?
I own and operate Cody's RV park.
Okay.
The location of the incident.
Right. And does Ms. Grissett live with you as well?
Say it again, sir?
Does Eleanor live with you?
Yes, she does.
Very good. Set your bond at $100. Condition of the bond is that you have no contact with Eleanor. Did you hear me explain no contact a moment ago?
Yes, I did.
Do you understand it?
I do, sir.
Very good. Also have to hold you up until 4 o'clock this afternoon so that if she wanted to serve you with a civil injunction, we'd know where to find you. As far as that address goes, as long as she stays where you guys were sharing a home, you'll have to stay someplace else. You can go by one time to collect your things, but you must contact the sheriff's office first. I'm going to have you back in court on the 10th of August. Very important that you contact your attorney and let him know about that court date, okay?
I will.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Latavius Hannah. Morning, sir. What's your date of birth?
695.
Latavius had 4 charges this morning: driving under the influence, possession of marijuana, battery on a detention staff, and depriving an officer of a means of communication. There's probable cause for those charges. As to those charges, you wish to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like me to appoint the public defender?
Public.
I'll appoint the PD, state.
Judge, no priors.
Wow. Mr. Hannah, I have an address for you on Millwood Road in Spring Hill. Is that where you live?
Yes, sir.
How long have you been there?
About 6 years.
Do you have a job these days?
Yes, sir.
What do you do?
Work at Lorette. Build aluminum fixes.
Okay. I'm going to set your bond on the driving under the influence at $500, on the marijuana at $500, on the 2 felonies at $2,000 each. That makes your total $5,000. I'm going to have you back in court on the 13th of August. Very important that you contact the public defender if you get out, all right? Thank you. Jacob Jericho.
Sir,
Morning, Jacob. What's your date of birth?
April 17th, born in 1990, sir.
All right. Jacob, the charges this morning are assault on a law enforcement officer and a threat towards a law enforcement officer. There's probable cause for the charges. As to those charges, hang on. You want to represent yourself? You want to hire private counsel? Would you like the public defender?
I would like to resolve this today if I could.
Nope. Would you like the public defender?
Yeah, I'll take a public
Very
defender.
good. State.
Judge,
Your Honor, do I have a felony
Jacob, just stop. Okay?
Okay.
Your mouth is what gets you into these problems to start with, so just stop. I'm going to set you a reasonable bond. Okay? They're misdemeanors. But I'm not resolving it this morning, okay?
Okay, yes, sir.
Very good.
Judge, she has a prior battery from 2011, resist officer without violence 2011, battery on detention facility staff 2014, battery second or subsequent 2014, another battery 2014, domestic battery second or subsequent 2016.
Very good.
Your Honor, he's currently on probation.
Oh, well, that's a problem. All right. Jacob, I got an address for you on Malvern Street in Brooksville. Is that where you live?
Yes, sir.
How long have you been there?
My whole life, sir.
You got a job these days?
Yeah, I work at USG Service with Karen.
All right. JK, I'm going to set bonds of 500 on each count, but I understand you're currently on misdemeanor probation. Does that sound familiar?
Yes, sir. That's why I wanted to resolve it today.
Well, if you resolve them today, you're done. They're going to swear out a warrant for the VOP anyway. Okay, so you're looking at jail time one way or the other. You can bond out if you want, but I'm telling you, by Wednesday, there's going to be a warrant for the VOP, which is going to have no bond on it. So if you stay in,
That's why I'd rather just get it done with today. And
well, because I can't resolve the VOP yet because it hasn't shown up. It's going to show up tomorrow or the next day.
Can we resolve the other charge?
No, I'm waiting for the VOP. I'm going to set your bonds at 500 on each charge. Who put him on probation, Eddie?
He just went on June the 20th.
That would have been me.
Hasn't even been into the office yet.
Okay, so the 20th of June was me, I think.
Yes, it is your
Okay.
case. It's 18 CT 1731.
Okay. So Jacob, 500 each one of these. I'm going to have you back. CT it was. I'm going to have you back Wednesday, August 1st on this one. They told you the 10th. We'll have you back the 1st. We'll get that VOP before then, and we'll get these things both wrapped up. Okay?
Thank you, Honor. I'm sorry for the actions
Jacob,
that I made.
Jacob, it's all right. I get it. Thank you.
Right.
Troy Lamoureux. Want to, sir, what's your date of birth?
6.788.
You're here on a charge of battery. There's probable cause for the charge. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself. You want to hire private counsel. Would you like me to appoint the public defender? I'll appoint the PD, Steve.
Judge, he has
Private charge.
a battery from
Okay.
2000.
Sorry. I'm saying
Okay, private
charge.
attorney, gotcha.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Judge, he has a battery from 2016, petty theft 2017, and organized fraud from 2017.
And Troy, I have an address for you on Jefferson Street. Is that where you live?
Yeah.
How long have you been there?
About 8.
Do you have a job these days?
At the moment, I'm getting all that taken care of. I should have another under privacy laws, but I think it would be shitty porn.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm going to set a bond on this of $500. Condition of the bond is that you'll have no contact with Ms. Pickett. Did you hear me explain no contact?
Yeah.
Do you understand that?
Yeah.
This case will be back August 10th. Make sure you tell your lawyer that date when you hire him, all right?
Yeah. Okay.
Quintavia Merriweather. Want to, sir, what's your date of birth?
4793, sir.
This morning I have a charge of aggravated battery being domestic in nature. There's probable cause for that charge. As to that charge, you're going to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Public defender, please.
I'm going to appoint the PD, and it looks like he's got a bunch of open felonies. All right. And so, Bridget, these are all coming back on the same day, right? Merriweather? Oh, that's a warrant.
That's an active one.
So there's a warrant that hasn't been served.
Correct.
Yeah. Is it a Hernando County warrant?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the case number is for that warrant, which hasn't been served. Okay. All right. So at the jail, I got a note here that Mr. Merriweather has an active warrant for 2 counts of ag assault with a deadly weapon and 1 count of dwelling, burglary of a dwelling or structure while armed. And apparently that hasn't been served, so maybe we can look into that before we let him bond out. So state, what's the history like?
He has a prior robbery from 2014. He has a battery, bodily harm from 2017.
All right. And Mr. Merriweather, I have an address for you on Burwell Road in Webster. Is that where you live?
Yes, sir.
And was Miss Delsey living with you as well?
Yes, sir.
Do you have a job these days?
Yes, sir.
What do you do?
Work for True Service, David True.
I'm going to set your bond at $5,000. Condition is that you have no contact with Miss Delsey. Did you hear me explain no contact earlier?
Yes, sir.
Did you understand it?
Yes, sir. If you don't mind, why is my bond so high?
You hit her in the face with a plant stand.
I
Allegedly.
see a bit.
Right. Okay. Well, if that's true, that's pretty bad. You also have a warrant pending with 2 counts of ag assault with a deadly weapon. So I'm concerned, as part of my decision in setting your bond, that you may be a danger to the community because I've got 1 aggravated battery I know of and 2 more ag assaults with a deadly weapon. So that's why your bond is high. Okay? All right. Also going to hold you up until 4 p.m. so that if you wanted to serve you with a civil injunction, we know where to find you. As far as that address in Webster is concerned, you can go by one time to collect your things, but you must contact the sheriff's office first. I'll have you back in court on the 13th of August. Very important that you contact the public defender if you bond out, all right?
Okay.
Thank you. Stephen Morgan. Morning, sir. What's your date of birth?
5/28/80.
Stephen, I got possession of methamphetamine, possession of drug paraphernalia. There's probable cause for those charges. As to those charges, you want to represent yourself. You want to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Public defender.
I'll point to PD, Steve.
Judge, he has a felony battery from 2001, reckless driving 2007, and that's all I show.
All right. Stephen, I got an address for you on Fruitville Road. Is that where you live?
Yes, sir.
How long you been there?
Approximately 4 years.
You got a job these days?
No, sir.
Okay. Set your bond at 1,000 on the meth and 500 on the paraphernalia. Totals 1,500.
What was the paraphernalia? I didn't have any paraphernalia.
Okay. Total is 1,500. I'll have you back in court on the 13th of August. You can talk to your public defender about all your questions regarding to your charges. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. James Phillips. Morning, Mr. Phillips. Looks like you were here on the weekend on this child support writ, right? Okay. All right. James, are you working these days?
I'm in the field.
You have to get a little closer to the microphone, James. I can't hear you.
I'm in the field in Plant City, farmer.
Okay.
Farmer.
All right. And the judge that's issued this writ set your cash purge at $660. I'm guessing since you're still here, that's an amount that's too big, right? You can't make $660?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is there some amount of money, James, that you could come up with if it meant getting out of jail today?
I have to make some calls.
Well, if you made the calls, how much do you think you could come up with?
Probably get $100.
Okay. So what I'm going to do, James, I'm going to find you in contempt for failing to pay child support. The sanction for that contempt is 10 days in the county jail starting whenever they picked you up, or until you get $100 cash there. So if you can get somebody to bring $100 to the jail, then you can get out, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, once you do that, this doesn't go away. Then you got to get yourself to the child support office and find out what the problem is and get this cleared up. Because if you don't get it cleared up, James, they're going to start the process over again, and you're going to spend another weekend in jail. And I bet you don't want to do that, right?
I know because my children live with me, so
then you definitely need to get it cleared up.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
$100 cash. David Waldron. This is one with all the open cases. Okay. Mr. Waldron, date of birth?
11/25/72.
All right. First thing I have is an arrest for a driving on a suspended license. There's probable cause for that charge. Then it appears that you're currently on felony probation. Is that correct?
Right.
And so there's a PC arrest for the VOP. All right. And then you've got a bunch of open felony cases pending in front of, are those Judge Toner?
There's Jefferson here, Junior, but the VOP is Judge Thomas, so they should all know Judge Thomas.
Okay, well, I'm not going to move all that stuff. We'll let that happen in circuit court.
Okay.
All right. So but the toner date for the VOP is right.
The 8/7.
Right. Okay. So So on all this, David, do you have the public defender on your open cases?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay, so on the VOP, I'm going to appoint the public defender. The bond on the VOP, of course, is going to be no bond. That one's coming back August 17th. Looks like they told you the 13th on that one, but that'll be the 17th. My guess is they'll get all your stuff synced up after you get back to court. On the driving on a suspended license, I'll appoint the PD. I'll leave the bond at $500.
Judge, he has a misdemeanor that's set for this week on the 19th, Thursday.
Okay. I'll move that one to the 19th of July, where your other misdemeanor is, apparently.
And you say he's got some open felonies?
And he's got a bunch of open felonies we're in RCO on. And then, with all the open felonies, which are 18 mm 1278, 18, oh, that's the misdemeanor. I won't mess with that, because that's just complicated. On the felonies, which are 18 CF 1457, 18 CF 1459, 18 CF 1460. Job number one when you're out on bond is don't pick up new criminal charges as it appears that you have. So pursuant to Florida Statute 903.0471, I'm going to revoke your pretrial release in all of those cases. So you'll be on no bond on your felony cases, at least until they come back on the 13th of August. At that point, the judge can revisit your bond if he wants to, or figure out where we're going forward from here. So the public defender will come see you at the jail about your two misdemeanors and all these felonies and the VOP before your various court dates. All right, David?
When is the felonies coming back?
The felonies are 813. The VOP is 817. The misdemeanors are all 719.
719.
Very good.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, do you have a question, David?
Oh, I asked, did I have a bond? Did you give me a bond today? For today?
Well, you have a bond on the new misdemeanor, but you had no bond on your old felonies, no bond on the VOP, so you're not going anywhere at least until the 17th of August would probably be the earliest, but, the PD will come see you. I'm not sure how likely it is that you'll get bond then, but they're going to come see you right away and make a plan for you, all right? All right. Very good. And then do I have Andre McCanan? And does anybody know what that's about?
Judge, this is a plea. It's my understanding you took 35 months or 36 months Department of Corrections. This is an M2 assault. He has 56 days.
All right. And Andre, did you just sign for 35 or 6 months DOC?
35 months, sir.
Okay. And you're ready to go on that now? We just have to take care of this misdemeanor. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Hang on one second. All right. So in case number
18 MM.
I got the case number. I don't have a charge.
M2
Assault. Okay. All right. In 18 MM 1612, Andre has the charge of assault. How do you wish to plead? You can plead no contest.
Yes, sir.
I'll accept the plea. Find it's freely and voluntarily made. I'll adjudicate you guilty. Sentence you to 50 days in the county jail. Credit 50 days served. Fine and court cost is $830, $100 for the public defender's office. No cost of incarceration because it's already been assessed. So that takes care of the misdemeanor. Andre, you're free to get going on the rest of this, all right?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Good luck to you. Very good. Thanks, folks.